The 5 companies in our power rankings tonight have a combined revenue of $50.5 million, and their leaders have one special number in common. They're all under 30. You're going to hate these people. And they made it on the top spots of Inc. magazine's 30 under 30. Here with the power rankings of the top 5 entrepreneurs under 30 is Inc. magazine's editor, Rod Kurtz, who is under 30.
My last year of eligibility.
So how many million do you have, sir?
It's a good question.
All right.
I'm
We won't
saving it
go
all
there.
for next year.
Number 5, Chaim Indig and Evan Roberts of Frisia.
Now, this, I actually
there
know
they
these
are.
guys personally. Great guys, great product.
What are they holding? I guess
This is an
the secret to their
electronic tablet.
success.
Yeah, it's called the Frisia Pad. And essentially what they do, think of this. You go to a doctor's office and you get handed the clipboard. You got to fill out your information. You always got to update it. It's a total pain. They digitize the whole thing, which not only makes it easier for the patient, but to keep the medical records, everything up to date for the doctors as well. So I think they're in 48 of the 50 states now, and I think end of 2008 could be pushing 10 million in revenue.
$2.6 million is their
2007, and so this year bigger and better than
All right,
ever.
so they watch these guys because they may make it big. Number 4, Aaron Patzer of Mint.com.
Now, this is a company for the times. Mint.com is
27, this kid is.
a web-based tool that helps you manage your finances, and we've never needed that more than ever. And basically, it's free. It provides users with easy-to-digest analysis of their figures, their spending, their budget. You know, this is more important than ever, and people are crunching their own numbers.
All right, number 3, Brendan and John Reddy of Reddy Seafood and
Now,
Catch a Piece of Maine. I love this.
I don't like to pick favorites, but these guys might be one of my favorites.
Although, you know, well, go ahead. I'm going to say something about lobster.
So they're from Maine, of course. I'm from New England. I love lobster.
I do too.
And so they have the wholesale lobster company, $10 million in revenue. That's impressive in and of itself. But what makes them really unique is that they have this Catch a Piece of Maine, which is a spin-off company. You can essentially buy a lobster trap timeshare. So for like $3,000 a year, you get all the lobsters that your trap catches. You can go up there. You can go out on the boat. You can give them as gifts. So it's
Although
really,
I don't want to pour cold water. Of course, they're used to it living in Maine.
That's
But
right.
you know what the price of lobster meat has gone down to? It's down to $2.30 a pound. It has gone way down. So, yeah, I'll buy them dinner. But again, these guys might have some tough times because the price of lobster meat going down. Number 2, Sumi Krishnan of 4K or
Now,
K4.
when you think of defense contracting,
she's pretty too.
When you think of defense contracting, you think of an old boys club, and then here you have Sumi. She has contracts with the Air Force, with the Pentagon, basically help desk, IT, logistics, things like that. About $7.5 million in revenue, and you know, at such a young age to be able to crack Uncle Sam's code and do business with the Pentagon.
So she can blow things up too. Number 1, Aaron Hall. This is the number 1. Here he is.
Drum roll, please.
Aaron Hall of Borrego Solar Systems.
Now, as the name indicates, a solar energy company, and with everyone going green, everything talking about green, they install solar panels for houses and for businesses. The interesting thing about him is that he was in college and wrote a business plan for a class about this struggling company. He didn't start the company. The company was a mess. They liked his plan so much, they said, you come in and run it.
Wow,
How about that?
that's
And now they're
cool.
doing over $30 million in revenue.
Of course, there could be some tough times in the next couple. If oil continues to go down, you know, people are going to get off the solar kick. Rod, good to see you. Arena football. It's down, but is it out? After 22 seasons, the Arena Football League's Board of Governors announcing plans to suspend the 2009 season. Why? Well, take a guess. The shaky economy. Will the AFL return in 2010, or will they join the list in tonight's Power Rankings? Sports leagues that went from endangered to extinct. Here is Rod Kurtz of Inc. magazine. Let's hope the league survives.
Now, one thing I can guarantee, I will not be playing for the league in 2010 regardless.
That's unfortunate. We were hoping to see you get some sense
slammed into the wall, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the USFL first.
The United States Football League. Now, this had a very short run, only 3 seasons. It was founded in 1982, had 23 teams at its height. Now, the thing I love about it is the team names. You had the Washington Federals, the Michigan Panthers, my favorite, the San Antonio Gunslingers. And, you know, the interesting thing about their business model is they chose not to go head-to-head with the NFL, that they had a March through June schedule so that people, when they were craving football during the offseason, they had it.
It seemed to make sense, but it couldn't fly.
And the interesting thing about a lot of these leagues, and this one in particular, you see Doug Flutie there.
By the way, is that Donald Trump in the background? It is. He was one of the owners. Yep.
There you go. I think what's interesting is that the NFL actually copied a couple big things from the USFL. That's sort of their legacy. One was the two-point conversion and the instant replay challenges that we see so much.
The two-point conversion makes a big difference. It did last weekend. All right, let's move on to the North American Soccer League. This had a longer run.
This had the longest run of the group on our list. It was founded in 1968, and it went extinct, as you put it, in 1985. At its height, 24 teams in the U.S. and Canada. The problems, like so many of these leagues, low attendance and overexpansion with all those teams. Now, the one bright spot, and you see him there, Pele, the greatest player on the planet, played for the New York Cosmos. He was a little older, but as a result of having such a marquee name, they averaged
better than Maradona.
They averaged, 40,000 fans a game.
All right, now these leagues don't always die. Sometimes they merge, which happened to the World Hockey League.
Absolutely. You see some familiar team names. They've since changed again in the NHL, but the Edmonton Oilers, the New England Whalers, the Quebec Nordiques.
They became part of the National Hockey League.
And the Winnipeg Jets all became part of the NHL. This was founded in 1972, ended in 1979. This was actually the most successful challenger to the NHL that they ever had. And their strategy in this case was they went to cities where there were no current
Gordie
NHL
Howe.
teams.
I think we're looking at Gordie Howe there.
There you go, for the Whalers.
Yeah.
And they paid their players a lot. That's how they got big names like that.
Number 2, the American Basketball Association. I'd forgotten about this.
The ABA. How could you forget the ABA?
Did.
Dr. J. This is my favorite on the list. And I think we got a photo of him, big afro, spinning that red, white, and blue ball. There were 12 teams. This went on from 67 to 76. They were known for flashier play. That's why it was so popular.
Right.
Fueled in part by the 30-second shot clock. They had three-pointers when the NBA did not, and of course the slam dunk
But
contest.
like the World Hockey League, they merged with the NBA.
They merged. So you saw 4 teams come into the NBA, what was then the New York Nets, the Denver Nuggets, Indiana Pacers, and the San Antonio
Okay, and then probably the most familiar, the American Football League.
Yes, and this was a true merger that really shaped the modern-day NFL. Founded in 1960, it ceased in 1969. The most serious competitor to the NFL, so serious that the teams essentially came in. There was a bidding war for these players, and you saw all 10 teams once they merged, I believe, 1970. They all became part of the NFL, including, I might add, the Boston Patriots. Which, of course,
you had to throw
and
that
of course,
in.
you see Joe Namath there. The Jets were an AFL team, Super Bowl III. He guaranteed victory, and it was a big moment for the AFL.
He came through.
Broadway Joe.
Broadway Joe. God bless him. All right. Time for Buy, Sell, or Hold. We take the names and stories in the news, treat them as if they're stocks. Would you buy them, sell them, or hold them? The NASDAQ finished up, as we just heard, 89 points today, and we have a feeling we know why. That's because look who is behind the NASDAQ counter today.
This is an ambush.
To help open the trading day, the Kurtz effect on the NASDAQ. Rod, first, you should be excluded from this, but go ahead.
What can I say?
What is this, like Bill Gross?
Gotta be a buy.
Getting into the TARP bill?
Gotta be a buy. Cody?
It's a strong buy. Anytime the market goes up because of Rod Kurtz, I'm happy. It's not Hank
I
Paulson.
love him. You know, what can I say?
The Kurtz effect is a buy. You know, it's got to be a permanent buy. They got to have you as a permanent
go down
fixture
every day now.
at the
David, it's
NASDAQ
certainly better than the
scoreboard.
Bernanke effect.
What do you say about the Kurtz effect? It is a buy. Okay, it's a unanimous.
The monkeys
Absolutely.
even say you're a buy,
I have my own
dude.
stimulus package.